What's going on, everybody? My name is Dank, and this is a tier list that I specifically created for Mythic Age God Powers in Age of Mythology Retold 1v1 games. I cooked this up last night on stream with a mate, and I plan on doing this a lot more, so if you like this video, then you should definitely get subbed for more coming in the future. We're going to probably look at the other God Powers, relics, maps maybe, units. We'll see. Scott even suggested maybe we look at the dateability of the other gods. Yeah, we like to have fun here, I guess. I'm also going to be posting more gameplay videos like this one I posted the other day with plenty of editing and memes and stuff to make up for the fact that okay, let's just say that I'm not a pro player, but I think the gameplay is fun and the videos are entertaining, at least in my opinion. So it would mean the world to me if you gave it a look. Without any further ado, let's get to the tier list. Age of Mythology Retold Mythic Age tier list. What are we saying? What do you want to start off with?
Yeah, should we go maybe civ by civ?
Yeah, we can go civ by civ. Lightning Storm?
Yeah, sure.
Whoa, hold on a second. I gotta come in and explain really quickly that neither of us realized that Lightning Storm actually does damage to buildings. Seen it in action. Everyone's just used it on an army, and it only lasts like 15 seconds, and so it kills everyone, and then that it's kind of over, and maybe there's no buildings around or whatever. But it does do damage to buildings, and it's kind of nuts. So maybe better than we thought.
This one's pretty freaking good, but
It is pretty
it's
good.
definitely not as good as Meteor. It does more damage to units, obviously compared to Meteor, but just does no damage to buildings.
It's tough. You got to
I wish
compare it,
had
I
done
think,
more.
against the other ones that are pretty similar. You know, tornado, implode, earthquake, all the sort of like big, it's going to damage you in an area at once. Very tough to sort of raid against something like that and plenty bolt.
Yeah, I'm putting it in like a B tier for now.
Yeah, maybe we benchmark that as the B tier. Because I feel like
Yeah.
something like Meteor Storm does a pretty similar job, except maybe a little bit more effective.
I'm gonna jump ahead and just put Meteor S tier. I've been
Really?
watching. Yeah, it's crazy. Just you pretty much just need to run a unit into someone's base and just drop it on their base and kill like their town center, temple, whatever else they got around. And yeah, just a
Right.
lot of damage to units as well. It's pretty nuts.
An important distinction here as well. Are we talking about Mythic rather than like Wonder Age as well? Because some of these
Yeah,
things
we're not really thinking about Wonder
in
Age,
Wonder
'cause,
just go ridiculous. Yeah,
like no one really is realistically getting to drop a Wonder. I'm talking mainly. Yeah, I guess I'm talking 1v1 as well.
yeah, that's another important thing because
Yeah.
something like Fimbulwinter gets a lot more value when you're versing.
Very
Yeah,
true.
really
Yeah,
much.
this is just 1v1. Plenty Vault, pretty nuts, honestly. Like I'll put a B for now. Why doesn't it not tell you? The tech tree needs to be telling me.
Yeah,
The
I think it's
resources.
3. It's 3 of each.
That
but
sounds about right.
I would argue it's not that good.
Yeah.
I think by the time you're sort of getting this, it's not going to make a huge difference to your game. Just having one
That's
point
true.
score. I
You're
think
kind of
the
looking
second
for.
one, hundreds of favor.
Yeah.
I think yeah, you're looking for game enders or something that's going to really sort of swing.
Yeah,
a
I
battle.
don't mind just putting it C tier then.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the worst.
if you can draw out a game, it would be really good. Then you can maybe even delete villages.
Yeah, definitely. If it's a
It's
stalemate
looking like really stalemated. Yeah.
and you're out of gold, it's just a nice reliable gold
Yeah.
income, which is everything income, obviously. Yep, yeah, C tier sounds alright. Earthquake. This is like a shit meteor.
I think the value of Earthquake is that it's more sort of consistent. You put it on an area and it's going to hit all of those buildings, whereas Meteor, Implode, even like they're not necessarily going to be knocking down all these buildings, especially like Tornado. You know, that's just flying all over the place. Earthquake is I put this here, these buildings should
That's
hopefully
true.
die.
It's
Yeah,
consistent.
take enough damage.
But I think when you compare it to Meteor, it's kind of just like
Yeah, I don't
feel
think
like
you
it
need
sometimes it also doesn't affect farms. That's what I'm reading.
Oh really?
Yeah. And Meteor definitely does.
An Earthquake does basically nothing to unit.
Yeah, it does crush damage, so it just doesn't really affect units. Yeah, like the way I'm seeing it is it's just like, it also doesn't affect airborne units. Meteor probably, does Meteor affect airborne units?
I could imagine an airborne unit getting hit by a meteor. Would be
I
pretty
can
bad for
imagine
them.
that too. This is what Meteor is doing. Meteor is doing massive amounts of damage to buildings, not as much to units. But like that's kind of bullshit. It still does. The first meteor strikes the exact place you put it. So you put it just straight on the town center. And then just random.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I reckon when you think about the fact that like Meteor is just way sicker, I'd probably just be putting it maybe B tier. I don't know about you.
Then B tier?
I'm saying B tier. I'm not erupting over it and putting it A tier, you know? Like I'm just like, yeah, it's decent.
Yeah, I really like this call. It's kind of like the same as Lightning Strike. You know, one's units, one's buildings. They're not excelling at it. Oh no, sorry, they both excel at either. Can't do both.
Yeah, I can B tier. And then we've got Son of Osiris. I know Ryan would have some thoughts about this guy.
Yeah, I feel wildly unqualified to talk about
Me
this.
too. I actually do as well. But from what I know about him, he's a pretty big deal. And now that you can make multiple of them as well,
Yeah.
like and I don't think it's too expensive either. You can definitely get enough favor for a second guy eventually. The reuse, actually never mind. Reuse cost is 350. But yeah, I mean he is sick. I've seen him in action. He'd be melting boys just like it's nothing.
Yeah. Oh, what are we thinking? Maybe
And the
A
fact
tier?
that I don't know. I'm thinking maybe A tier. Oh, actually I don't know. Are you picking Son of Osiris over a Meteor? At this stage probably not, but I think Meteor probably would get nerfed.
Yeah.
And so then it makes it but like as of right now, maybe just a step behind. Yeah.
It's actually a super tough call. You know, how much of an impact can this one unit have? So we're talking about the god powers as well. You know, I think Son of Osiris, just Osiris, the god, gets a lot of value out of the mummies.
Yeah. The mummies are sick as well. But you know, we got to try and like put it in a vacuum and just figure out the
Exactly.
god powers compared to each other. You know, we're not trying to really consider.
No.
So, and the more I look at it, actually, yeah, I'm okay with having Lightning Storm B tier. But having it a little bit better than Earthquake, and then we're saying Osiris is better.
No, I don't think we can. He's got some good synergies with relics. That's something that's worth noting. Like you can heal your myth units when heroes deal damage.
Yeah, I guess so.
I can just see them getting bursted down. You know, if someone pulls out Son of Osiris, I'm whipping out a bunch of hero
I'm putting in B tier.
toxotes.
I'm putting in middle of the road, kind of B tier.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ryan would probably have something to say about that,
Yeah.
but he's not here to speak, so fuck that guy.
Boo.
Next we have Tornado.
Tornado.
I don't know, man. I don't know if Tornado's all that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a Tornado fan.
Are you?
I am. I think it's really good.
How?
Super strong to like mess up an area, but the problem is you can't control it as easily. You know, it's
It
sort
also
of random
damages
sometimes.
friendly units.
Yeah.
So yeah, tricky one.
Yeah, I mean you can put it down and it'll sometimes just run away.
Yeah, the unpredictability of it.
But it does staggering damage to buildings, and it'll suck in units and toss them around.
Yeah, I think it has a good balance between like building damage and unit damage, and also the fact that it's knocking them up and stuff like that. But I think when are you realistically using it? I think you're probably putting it on a town center and just hoping for the best, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Or because if you're using it in a fight, there's a chance it could just come at you and you know fuck you up a little.
No, I definitely think you're going for infrastructure damage with it,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's a little bit stronger than Earthquake.
The more I think about it, I might be putting Earthquake C tier.
C tier.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm jumping into custom. I've got to test out the Earthquake.
love that. That's great. While you do that, and then Ragnarok. I like Ragnarok, but I haven't had much of a chance to use it because Loki doesn't get it. Wait, you can't repeatedly use Ragnarok?
Is that the Retold page?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Retold.
What?
I guess it doesn't really matter in a 1v1 where it's kind of just a do or die. You either kind of kill them,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and if you don't, then you're kind of fucked. But also there is still a chance that you do enough damage with it that like you can kind of, you know, build your base back up. It's still kind of, you know, I don't know. Like it does happen.
Yeah.
Which means the fact that you can't use it again, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of sucks.
But if we're talking about a 1v1, like you're meant to win with Ragnarok.
No, I know what you mean. This is actually a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah, same.
I think maybe it'll be interesting to come back to this once I've had more games under my belt and I've experienced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't played with so many of them in an actual environment.
Right.
And the Heroes of Ragnarok still feel just as strong, but
It seems as good as it was in the old game.
I think we're gonna ask like what we're doing with these god powers. You know, it's meant to be the end of the game. If you're getting to Age 4 already, it's kind of insane. A lot of games aren't going that long for like a 1v1. So by this point, it's either like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
stalemate or you've just like gotten that little bit of an edge, been able to level up. Age
Yeah,
up.
for sure. I think you got to compare it to Fimbulwinter because yeah, that's the other option for Odin and Thor.
I don't think Fimbulwinter is very good 1v1.
I don't think so either. In fact, I think it's pretty terrible. It might even just straight up be a D tier, the Fimbulwinter for 1v1.
Yeah.
It's like you can just ring that town bell and everything garrisons, and then you kind of just survive. It doesn't really kill too many units, and at that point in the game, even if it kills, you know, 5 or so villages, not a big deal. So I don't know. I agree with you. I wonder what the cooldown is on Fimbulwinter and like the favor cost once you use it. Are you realistically using it multiple times in the third age? Doesn't look like it. The reuse cost is the same as pretty much all the other ones at 350. So yeah, I guess you're just not really using it that much, man. I don't know. Do you have any qualms putting Fimbulwinter D tier?
No, I think you're right. I think Fimbulwinter's D.
Yeah.
It's just not a big enough deal. I'm trying to think about circumstances where an army might be able to work with it. You know, if you raid at the right time. Both players have a standing army.
I think they're neutral though. I think that the Fimbulwinter units may... I could be wrong. I don't want to say anything that is not true, but...
Now, I'm quite sure the Fimbulwinter units, like...
Oh, no, I don't think they're actually. I'm thinking Tartarian Gate definitely is.
yeah. No, Fimbulwinter units are on the team. Oh my god, whoops.
The caster.
Yeah, they're on the team that you spawn them on. And, like, will fight anything. They'll fight, anything except their team.
Yeah.
They'll go after hunt and all sorts of strange stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, regardless, just not as sick as the other ones.
No.
And then... Yeah, so I'm thinking probably Ragnarok like a B.
Okay.
For now. We can adjust later. It's really strong
bottom-
once you get it.
Bottom of B tier.
I don't know at bottom.
I think we're gonna start moving some stuff around.
I think so too.
Are you ready for the earthquake demonstration?
Yes. Drop that right on the middle of that town center.
Yeah. Can I get
Smack
everything
bang.
in there?
Yeah, and try and get that fortress too. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Nah.
Hasn't managed to
It
get.
hasn't killed
no.
the TC. If
No,
it's killing the
no.
TC, that's not even an upgraded TC, you know. That's not even a fortified one. That's not that good.
No, I think you get this like a similar value out of a my god, this easy bot's going crazy on me. Yeah, I think you get a similar value out of an implode over the top of an army fighting. That's
Yeah.
about how much damage that'll do.
See, it's not even. That's crazy. It's not even killing a town center.
And it will do basically nothing to units.
Yeah, it really doesn't do much to units. I'm happy putting it C.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. There's other things that do the job better. That's the real problem for it. It just doesn't. It's doing nothing to the units.
Yeah, you don't use it on units, that's for sure.
No. But compared to Meteor.
Meteor's just absolutely
It's not gonna be-
slapping. I know
Yeah,
for a
it's not-
fact
yeah, it's not
Meteor
bad.
takes out town centers as well.
Yeah.
At least at this stage. Next, this is a painful one because it's the Dragon Boy, Nidhogg, and I think he's maybe a D tier.
Really?
Yeah. I'm maybe a low C.
I think a lot of the ones
maybe a
that
low
are
C.
units get pretty heavily counted. There's a lot of ways for each civilization to deal with like flying myth units.
Yeah, exactly. Every civ is cranking out, archers, and they're just able to deal with it pretty easily. Doesn't do that much damage to buildings either. Like it does. It kind of it's both hack and crush damage. I didn't know that. And the reuse cost is the same as all the other ones. That's what I'm noticing as well. It'll be different for Atlanteans, but it seems like all the other civs have the same 240 seconds and 350 reuse cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, Meteor's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's too easily countered, and he's a little bit wonky. He does these like little charge attacks where he will just kind of, if you're not controlling it, it'll just kind of miss everything. It sets trees on fire, I'm pretty sure, which is pretty cool. But yeah, when you're comparing it to like a lightning storm that has such a like instant devastating impact.
Yeah.
Or like, I'd rather have a Son of Osiris for sure.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. The fact that you can get so much, it's way easier to protect Osiris, and you can't heal him, but he's just safer. You can also buff up all your units, and he's just slapping as well. I think he does more. He's obviously not doing the crush damage that Nidhogg can do, but when he's just taking out units from such a good range and multiple at a time, it's pretty nuts. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm thinking is a C tier, low C tier. He needs some love. He really should just be like an absolute menace, you know.
Yeah, it should be a much bigger deal.
Like he should
Even if it
be
was just a
absolutely
bit tankier, did less damage, or did more damage and was a bit squishier.
Yeah, 100%. Oh man, and then this is this guy, the Inferno. Might be our first A tier.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite as good as Meteor, but boy, devastating. He actually slaps.
Yeah, it's very consistent. I think it does more unit damage, a lot more unit damage than Earthquake. Probably similar building damage, but is more consistent than Tornado or Implode.
He has a lower recharge time as well.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, first one with a lower recharge time.
But it's still the same amount of favor, and Norse is not. It's pretty unreliable for getting favor.
Yeah, you're really generating.
But at that
minutes.
In the Mythic Age, you are constantly fighting and generating favor, so I could see multiple Infernos happening for sure. I mean, yeah, like this. If you aim this right, it's brutal. It does really just turn the tide of those game-deciding fights at the end. You're kind of pushing into their base. It's not as good when you're on the defensive. It's obviously not really hitting any buildings, but if you are, it's pretty good at just getting you over the line. Yep, I reckon he's like an S tier. Not quite as good as Meteor.
Sure.
It is sick. I don't know if am I saying it or he? This is just a big old it's the Grey Wolf Federate. Yeah. That wolf is a beast, erupting in an apocalyptic inferno of flame and ruin. Hell yeah, brother. Alright, Atlanteans.
Yeah, Friday night.
This is where your time to shine.
I know, finally. I've been bumbling my way through the rest of these.
Vortex?
Sure.
Vortex.
It's good. But, unfortunately, Shifting Sands is also pretty good. And
yeah, and that's a classic range, isn't it?
Yeah. In the later stage, and Underworld Passage as well. I think in the later stages of the game, you're not really getting that much out of
just straight up just teleporting. And you have to have line of sight as well.
You do have to have line of sight. I'd love it to be better. Because
good on water maps
potential.
Which is true, but like water maps are kind of a lull right now. I don't know. Another use is to prevent an opponent from finishing a Titan Gate or a Wonder by sending a scout, such as a Calaggia. True. Yeah, I agree with you. It's just not really doing much for me.
No, I think the circumstances where you can teleport an army somewhere, you can get a unit, rather than just fight your way in, and it's going to win you the game, are so rare.
Yeah.
That God Power is not good. Potentially, if you had some kind of a game where you really needed to get into this one spot and were able to send a flying unit over the wall or something and get in there, get vision, drop your army in, and win the game, perfect. But I don't think that's ever going to happen, especially when you could just use so many other God Powers to bash down their defenses that are in the way, and then your opponent is looking at a worse spot. If you teleport in, you now don't have your army where it might have been before, so they can just run into your base. It's also
exactly.
long cooldown, and
That's what
much
I'm
lower
talking
than it's
about.
much
It's a
lower
90
than all
second
the other.
cooldown. and
90 seconds?
You could, I
I'm
think you
wrong.
can reuse it 2 times before it costs favor, and then it's
Yeah.
and then it's only 25 favor afterwards. So you can pretty much use it as much as you want. Yeah, what has happened to
Yeah.
my screen?
The stream's like green.
That was interesting.
That's right. Well, yeah, let's wrap up Vortex. I think probably a D.
Yeah, a
I
D.
think it's a shocker. Yeah.
It's a shocker.
I think it's crap. When you could get one of the other two.
I think it's a little bit sicker than Fimbulwinter in 1v1, but yeah.
Yeah, that might be true.
Yeah, alright, I'm happy with that. And then, I mean, then when you're comparing it to Vortex, I mean, whew, this is a crazy one.
I think Vortex is definitely the strongest of the Atlanteans.
Yeah, oh, easily.
But its value is a bit hard to sort of quantify. Very low recharge time, 60 seconds, but it does have a really high reuse cost. It goes right up to 350 straight away, but only a ramming cost of 5. So there are some ways for Atlanteans to get an absolute buttload of favor right now. There's 2 techs earlier on that I think only Gaia could get. Leto and
as well.
yeah, no, Leto and Thea.
Hang on,
You get both of those, then you're looking really good. Either one is pretty good, but they both give you basically the same tech, which is when you have full oracles, all 10, you get an extra 10% bonus favor. And I don't know if that's stacking right now, but when you get both, you do get a lot of favor, and enough to be able to cast Implode off cooldown, even without being in Mythic Age. Nearly off cooldown. You definitely run out, but it's feasible to be getting enough to sort of keep up.
Yeah.
And get the value out of such a low cooldown. In saying that, Implode's really easy to dodge.
I don't know. I've seen some gameplay where like you can just like it is a pretty far radius where it'll suck units in. Like nearly off the screen because it ramps up.
Yeah. It does. I think it does get a little bit bigger as it goes too.
you can run from it, but if they've just put it smack bang on your army, they're not.
Yeah.
I don't think they're getting away from it.
The other thing is, if they do run away, and they're getting sucked in a little bit, you can send your army into it. Assuming you've got the resources to make another one, which you probably will at the end of the game. You can send your army into it and power it up, and then it'll last longer, suck in more of their guys, and then blow up.
We've got damage numbers here as well. So if there's no units around it, the implosion does standard 600 crush damage. Any buildings, but every unit that sucks in, regardless of its stats, deals an additional 60 crush damage. So that really ramps up. Like I don't think you're quite killing a town center if you're, you're not. But like it's doing a lot. It's the same kind of thing with Inferno, where if you're pushing and you're using that like just at the edge of their base with their army, it's massive.
Yeah, I think compared to so many of these other ones, the fact that you can potentially get 2 off, is huge.
Yeah, I think you're definitely getting multiple uses out of it, but probably just probably like 2. And then
feasibly.
Yeah.
Or at least you're out of favor.
Yeah, I mean like the ramping cost is only 5, so it's pretty much you can maybe even get the 3rd one in. Yeah, I think it's pretty sick. I don't think it's quite as good as Meteor, but I think maybe an A.
Yeah, I would say an A.
Hell yeah. And then last but not least, the Tartarian Gate. Have you used this mod much? I didn't think it's really.
I have not used this very much because I don't think it's very good.
I don't think so either. You can't put it on a town center, which sucks.
No.
Like as in, like, you can't, because like with the gate, I'm just saying this for anyone potentially watching this, like, and that doesn't know, it will instantly destroy buildings that you invoke it on, but you can't do it on a town center. So it's definitely good.
Gets value from that.
It's definitely annoying. If you're using it right in the middle of their base, it's definitely like, annoying. You have to take.
It's disruptive, yeah.
Yeah, like I think you actually have to bring like one thing compared to Meteor and like other ones that kind of destroy buildings is you have to bring military over to deal with it. Whereas like Meteor, it's just, you know, you're just using villagers to repair basically. So in that regard, if you're taking out a few buildings with it, you know, maybe like a watchtower and like temple, while it's also harassing villagers farming under the main town center, it's definitely annoying. I mean, infinitely more annoying than like Fimbulwinter, where Fimbulwinter you kind of just wait it out after 30 seconds.
Yeah, this can lock people out of environments. My biggest issue with it is how squishy the actual gate is. The monsters of Tartarus. Tartarian? Is that it? The Tartarus monsters?
Yeah, wait, what is this? 2,500 HP? Is that what it is? Okay, it says 2.5.
Yeah. But it takes bonus damage from myth units. Heroes.
Really?
It does.
Wow.
I just did. I should probably fact check that. It used to in the base game. In the old game.
Definitely need to fact check that. Yeah, that's yeah, that sucks. Like I don't think it deserves that treatment, you know. Like I get the idea.
Yeah,
It makes sense because like myth units are supposed to counter, like just in a general, but heroes are supposed to counter anything myth related, so I get that. It has very weak crush armor, only 5%, and not a lot of hack armor either. I think that like, I think I could use a little buff to like 35%. It is actually affected by masons and architects. You know, the HP upgrades in the TCs. So that's decent.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
It's capped at 6 Tartarian spawns. The thing is, I don't really know if the Tartarian spawns are actually. I don't think they really kill much, to be honest.
No.
You kind of just appear and then you evacuate and then they'll start hitting buildings and stuff.
It'll clear out an area, and if you don't do anything about it, they're just gonna keep spawning and killing stuff.
It's got some good crush damage. It's actually pretty good. They have a jump, and yeah, like I think it's solid. I think it's a solid god power, but where like compared to the others, I almost want to put it in B tier as well. I'm definitely taking it over the C tier one options.
What do we have in C tier again?
Plenty, Volt, Earthquake, and
fuck,
yeah.
I don't know if I would, but maybe I'm like really underrating it because I am wrong about the hero bonus damage. I think. I don't think that's a thing anymore. No. So it's a little bit tankier than I'm giving it credit for, but it still gets pretty ripped up. By the end of the game, you're pumping guys out your base. But maybe I'm not using it well or haven't had it used well against me.
Yeah, and again, you got to kind of give my game crash, so I can't look. Can you look at? Yeah. So you're obviously taking it over. You're taking Implode over Tartarian Gate. Although, yeah, I mean, like if you're just comparing it like that. Yeah, I mean, like I'm probably, and you know, I'm taking it over Vortex as well. So I think it makes sense to. Put it like B. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah,
it's definitely not an A tier. I think it might be a little cooler than a tornado.
Yeah.
Not quite as cool as a Ragnarok.
Is it? No, I don't think it is.
You don't think it's cool?
You can get value out of it. No, I don't think it's as good as tornado. You can get value out of it, but I think it's really dependent on how much you can do while you're Tartarian gating something. Right? If you just Tartarian gate, an army can beat it, no worries. So you need to be fighting and then use it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think getting it in the right spot while doing that, it's not impossible. I just don't see it being that big of a deal.
I think like
you're not gonna lose villages to it.
You're not, but you are definitely causing idle time, and it's definitely taking out buildings. If you're like assuming you're using it properly, where like it is kind of hard to place it compared to. It takes a little bit more thought than like a Meteor, but
yeah,
when you're just whacking it in the base and it's like they have to bring their army to deal with that, which is it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm happy to put it kind of bottom of B tier.
Sure.
But I don't know. If it was just me here, I'd be probably putting it look there. But we're splitting hairs at this point, you know.
Yeah.
I'm happy with
Yeah.
this tier list overall, though. I think this is looking pretty good.
That does look about right.
There might be, like, looking back, like, I might change my mind, but, you know, you can definitely make arguments for some stuff to be moved around, but I think, generally speaking, this is pretty solid. I think, yeah, like, Meteor just belongs in S tier right now until they nerf it. And if they do bring Meteor in line with, you know, the other A tiers, then I think that'd be cool.
That would be good.
But yeah, I think the C and Ds, they all probably need a bit more. I don't even know what you'd do with Vortex.
Yeah.
And
well,
I think Fimbulwinter needs. I wouldn't be buffing it because it's annoying, you know. Like,
yeah.
if you're buffing it so it like, if the walls are faster and they're like two-shotting villages, like that's just obnoxious. You know, you just press a button and that happens. So they've got to find a way to rework that one, I think.
Yeah, it's also, we're looking at this in a very narrow lens.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot more context around a lot of these powers, so it makes sense to have one power be really good if you get nothing else out of the god.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think with Vortex, you're getting quite a lot.
Yeah.
Out of other areas of Helios.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also talking about this in 1v1. Fimbulwinter, like, is so good in like 3v3 and beyond. I think it's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
Huge value out of it. Even though like it's pretty easy to sort of quickly go around to all your TCs and put them back. And even like as the map gets bigger, it gets more intense. You know, there's
For
more
sure.
TCs, more wolves.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So while it would be good to see some of them brought a little bit more in line, like it's not too bad that in a 1v1 context, just looking at the god powers, they're a bit like this.
Final thoughts?
I don't know, yeah, I think I'm happy with what we've done. I think I summarized my thoughts around like, yeah, the issues with the tier lists like this, but yeah, it's cool to see them all sort of lined up, and I'm interested to see where it'll line up later on.
Yeah, me
after
too.
some patches and we play a few hundred more games or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It's been fun. We'll definitely have to do the other Age God Powers.
Yeah. Yeah,
More
more tier lists to come.
Tier lists are fucking rad.
Yeah, I think we need a dateability of each god.
A
tier list.
dateability. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Hell
That's
yeah.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Leave a comment for sure. That'll be a fun one.